President Xiomara Castro assured Honduras will hold free, transparent general elections backed by the sovereign will of the people. Venezuela and Japan strengthen cooperation on urban and community architecture areas during a meeting of President Nicolas Maduro's with Japanese architect Riken Yamamoto. In Thailand, flooding in central and southern parts of the country have left 42 people dead and over 3.2 million people affected. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll begin with the news. Stay with us. President Xiomara Castro assured that Honduras will hold free, transparent general elections by the sovereignty will of the people. The president highlighted her government commitment to democratic principles and institutionality. The head of state emphasized the guarantees that her government maintains regarding next Sunday's elections, which also coincide with the defense of the conduct of electoral process before the international organizations. Xiomara Castro underlined that after 16 years, Honduras has been eligible for the Millennium Account, a UN program that provides funds and supports to developing countries that meet strict criteria and transparency, anti-corruption, human rights, and economic management. Just days before the presidential elections in Honduras, released audios recording key figures of Honduran political and business scenes with an electoral scandal. On Tuesday, local media circulated 7 of the leaked audio recordings that brings to light an electoral plot to secure the appointment of the presidential candidate for the Liberal Party, Salvador Nasrallah, as president in the upcoming Sunday elections. There reveals conversations between business leaders, a magistrate of the Electoral Tribunal, a presidential candidate, an electoral official, and the head of the National Party's congressional bloc, as well as other people whose identities remains unconfirmed. In Honduras, this election scandal unfolded after the leak of 7 aliens recordings that compromise key figures in the National Party, including Councilor Cassette Lopez and Party leader Tomás Zambrano.
I am only interested in things that benefit me, and especially my daughter. That is what interests me. It seems to me that you are more interested in getting out of the business and saying yes, no. Things take time. As I told you, you can't do anything with 3 million lempiras, nothing. Then putting more. I don't know where you can get it, but if you can boast and increase it to 7, then we could talk about it, but 3 million pesos is no use to me. I can't even pay for the car with that.
No sé cómo yo voy a justificar la salida de ese dinero.
But I don't know how I'm going to justify that money going out. You're saying 7 million, when we're already over 5. Sorry, 3, which is what's possible. No. You tell me exactly what you want and I'll solve it. Or let your friend, the former mayor of San Pedro, help you because he has the power to do that.
We have found out what happened to your phone. We already have a report, but we do not recommend making that report public because what it would give us, well, I'm giving you this advice because there is an intervention and it is true, and everything you said would be discredited if you made a statement with that report. I don't know if you want me to shred it or if we should talk in person again, because all you sent me was the phone number and you log in on another phone. So we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve, which was a complete analysis.
And also in this regard, Honduran businessman Eduardo Facuse called presidential candidate Salvador Nasrallah to discuss the strategy for declaring him the winner of the upcoming elections.
Estamos algo preocupados porque vimos la situación el día de hoy.
We are a little concerned because we saw the situation today and we were thinking about how to support you and how to give you direct coverage with the latest program sponsored by teleSUR, where there was an approach to give you the last participation because Nasri Asfura wanted it and I spoke to him. I want to be very sincere with you. I met with him in an untraceable way through a third person, and we are somewhat concerned about the electoral situation. And he indicated to me, Guayito, that you don't have enough people for the polling stations and that you had a confrontation, a call with Contreras. I want to know how we can alleviate that situation. You know that right now you can't be fighting publicly, and I don't want you to make statements like that because you'll undermine everything we've had built.
The citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines prepare for general elections on November 27th, while the main candidates carried out their electoral campaign. Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves is running for re-elections, and polls show that he has a dominant lead of almost 70% over opposition leader that don't win Friday. During his campaign ad, Gonsalves invited Jamaican artist Pop Can to attract younger audience to his party, action that was imitated by his rival, who received harsh criticism on social networks. Let's take a very short break, but remember you can join us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned because we'll be right back. Welcome back to From the South. On Wednesday in Venezuela, President Nicolás Maduro met with Japanese architect Riken Yamamoto, who participated in the first World Symposium on Neighborhoods held in Caracas. In this scenario, Nicolás Maduro expressed his gratitude for the proposal made by the architect and his team to strengthen the community movements in Venezuelan neighborhoods. For his part, Riken Yamamoto, who was awarded the prestigious Pritzker's Architecture Prize in 2024, highlighted the success of the urban model in the Bolivarian territory and expressed his interest in collaborating to improve the well-being of the neighborhoods. In addition, Yamamoto remarked that the urban and community development project promoted by Venezuela is an example for the world. Cuba announced new economic measures to boost the economy at the Havana International Fair held at the Expo Cuba Exhibition Center. Priorities include macroeconomic stabilization, the participation of all stakeholders, and the promotion of foreign investments. Our correspondent Isabel Diaz-Gonzalez has the details.
Cuba remains open to new forms of investment, cooperation, and value creations in the business sphere, always under the premise of never compromising the country's sovereignty, and within the framework of the Constitution of the Republic, as announced at the Havana International Fair.
These decisions are part of the implementation of the government's program to correct distortions and reboost the economy. They are aimed at expanding the operational capacities of foreign investment in the country, as well as simplifying procedures and streamlining operations.
The measures include differentiated financial scheme, operations in foreign currency and national currency, more autonomy in processes, e-commerce with payments from abroad, greater institutional agility and flexibility in hiring workforce and foreign investment.
¿En qué consisten estas transformaciones?
What do these changes entail? First, a new differentiated framework for foreign investment will be established, allowing investors to operate in either the local currency or foreign currency according to their needs. What does this mean? That we have initiated and recognized as part of the government actions a process of partial dollarization of the economy, and foreign investment mainly operates in national currency. However, the impact of this partial dollarization process has identified the advantage of being able to operate in both currencies in a flexible manner, so that, according to their needs, they can generate operations towards the different sectors of the economy.
As part of the investment forum at FIHAP 2025, the Vice Prime Minister also presented the updated portfolio of opportunities, which includes 426 projects.
This is also closely linked to the need for foreign investment to focus on obtaining external sources of income, that is, towards the foreign market by exporting goods and services, but also to different segments of the domestic market where foreign currency income can be obtained.
It has been reported that among the measures, the priorities are focused on exports and import substitution, food production, and knowledge-intensive activities.
There are other issues that will definitely have an impact on the new foreign investment law, which, as you know, a legislative timeline has been approved, and it is scheduled for the session of the National Assembly of the People's Powers in December 2026. The addition of a new law and all the work and components of the people involved in the process so that they would agree with the modification.
The measures are aimed at greater transparency and guarantees, quality of life and financial growth for the benefit of the given people and national economic development.
Samir Medina e Isabel Díaz González, teleSUR, La Habana, Cuba.
We move on. Cuba commemorates 90 years since the passing of the commander-in-chief of the Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro. At the ceremony held on the steps of the University of Havana in front of the alma mater at the very university where Fidel became a revolutionary, Cuban youth honored the memory of one of the country's finest sons. During the event, several singers, dance groups, and musical ensembles paid tribute to the commander Fidel Castro. The diplomatic mission of Cuba and Colombia, members of the Solidarity Movement with the island, paid tribute to Fidel Castro Ruz on the 9th anniversary of his passing. From the National University of Colombia, participants in the tribute, including young people and diplomats, highlight how the principles and work of Fidel Castro focus on independence and the defense of Latin American identity continue to be a fundamental guide. Let's take a last break, but before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. For final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. In compliance with the first phase of the ceasefire agreement, Israel identified the latest remains recovered from Gaza. In this scenario, meetings have begun to review the second phase of the deal. The identification of the remains took place while Turkish, Qatari, and Egyptian officials met in Cairo to discuss the details of the second phase of the ceasefire agreement. The next phase included development of an international body under the mandate of the United Nations that will be responsible for overseeing the reconstruction of the Palestinian enclave. Winter rains in Palestine worsened the humanitarian crisis facing displaced children and families in the Gaza Strip. Palestinians struggle to save the few belongings that survived 2 years of war as they pump water out of their shops. In the face of the disaster, humanitarian aid organizations warn that a coming rainy month will exacerbate the already critical situation aggravated by the chronic shortages of supplies. We move on. The government of Thailand mourned on Wednesday the death of 46 people due to floodings in central and southern parts of the country, where over 3.2 million people have been affected. The number could increase in the coming hours and days due to the persistence of heavy rainfalls in 20 provinces, including industrial areas and 3 destinations in the south with the risk of flash floods and landslides. Torrential rains in Indonesia have caused floodings and landslides on the island of Sumatra, killing at least 10 people. In this scenario, rescue teams have recovered 5 bodies and reported that 3 people were injured. A massive fire in a residential building complex in Hong Kong, China, killed at least 14 people and left thousands injured. The fire began at one food court in Hong Kong's northern Tai Po district. The building complex is home to 4,600 people and has nearly 2,000 flats. The fire department reported about 700 people have been evacuated to temporary shelters for their safety. In this scenario, the number of people who might still be inside the building is unknown. Recent tensions between Taiwan, Japan, and China escalate again after Taiwanese leader Lai Ching-te publicly expressed his support for the Japanese Prime Minister in a harsh response from Beijing. Our correspondent in the Chinese capital, Bruno Falsi, brings us the details.
Hello to all the companions of teleSUR and the audience watching us in this transmission. I am in Beijing now, this time to inform you that the Office of Taiwanese Affairs of the Council of State of China harshly criticized the Taiwanese vice leader, Lai Ching, for his public support for the first Prime Minister, Sanai Takaichi of Japan, classifying his action as disgusting and warning that his betrayals the nation, they will face the court of justice. Lai recently published a photo on social media of eating Japanese food, claiming that it showed the solid friendships between Taiwan and Japan. Furthermore, his government announced an increase of $40,000 million in the defense spending over the next 8 years, with the aim of detaining a possible intervention of Chinese government. According to the framework of international law and United Nations resolution on Chinese concerns, Taiwan is considered part of China territory, and any intervention by third parties in the country's internal affairs could constitute a violation of its sovereignty, which explains the firm response of the Chinese government. These tensions are produced in a delicate international context, where relations with Japan and Taiwan continues to generate warnings about the regional stability. With this news, we return with you in the studios in La Habana.
The Democratic Republic of the Congo will launch a vaccination campaign against rubella and measles to protect children aged 6 months to 14-year-old. The President Felix Tshisekedi welcomed a delegation from the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization to launch the vaccination campaign that will benefit more than 17 million Congolese children. The measles and rubella vaccination campaign will run from November 27th to December 1st, 2025 in various provinces of the country. In this context, the Democratic Republic of the Congo will also hold a polio vaccination week, joining forces to strengthen immunity, prevent epidemics, and provide relief and accessible protection to every child. We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, X, and on Instagram as well. For Telesur English, I'm from the South. I'm Marrero. Thank you for watching.